Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Cairo Local Time, and today we have a very important and a very interesting topic that we're gonna be discussing in our program today. And today we have with us in the studio Mohammed Faris, and Mohammed Faris is a young author that wrote a book actually, and he's only 22 years. I thought it was very interesting to bring Mohammed and shed light on his book and discuss more and more and how he thought and how he was inspired and loads of things. And of course, the book's name is Golden Feather, which tackles social and psychological aspects of humans through his characters. Mohammed, a very good day, and we have the pleasure to have you with us in the studio today, and we have the pleasure to have you here in Cairo Local Time and NileTv.
Thank you for having me. The pleasure is mine.
Mohammed, how did you get the idea at this really young age? Of course, it's a pride to have such a role model that we hope that all youths look up to you, Mohammed. How did you get this idea, and how were you inspired to write a book at this age?
I've been asked this question many times in the past few years when I told people that I'm starting to write a book. Actually, I have no idea how the idea came into my mind. I was at the gym. I was listening to some very beautiful music. I love music. When I was listening to the music, the idea came into my mind. I thought this would make a very good movie. I always loved movies, and I thought that writing this idea down could be a very good idea, because actually when I started writing down the idea, I didn't think it was going to be a book. I was just writing down an idea I wanted to give someone I know to produce cinematically. But I never thought I'd be writing the idea down.
Is this person, Mohammed, that you decided to help, for example?
Mainly three people.
Three people.
My father, my mother, and a very dear friend. His name is Mohammed Hatem al-Maligi. He was with me through each and every step, and he knows the story. He's probably the person who supported me the most writing the story down. When I got the idea, I wanted to write down an outline for the story so that I can give it to someone who can produce it, make it a movie or something. But when I started writing down the outline, I found myself holding 40 pages or something. It was too deep to be an outline. So I thought maybe I'm going to divide the pieces down and start writing each and every part in detail. I found myself finishing chapter 1 without even knowing it. I never knew I was going to write a book. It just happened this way, very spontaneously.
And what did you feel, Mohammed, after you ended the chapter and
shocked.
You actually achieved and wrote 40 pages? What was you feeling?
I was shocked. I was completely shocked. I never thought I could write 40 pages of an outline, and let alone finish the whole chapter of book. I never even knew the format of writing down a novel. I never knew how to do it. For myself, I just did it. I was looking at 20 pages. They're all one chapter.
That's
I was
wonderful.
Wow.
Mohammed, the name of the book is Golden Feather.
The Golden Feather, yes.
Could you shed a light on the book, please? And why did you choose this name? And what is the content of the book, Mohammed?
Okay, well, so you want to know something about the plot or something about why I chose this name for the book?
Both. We're going to be knowing about the plot, and then we're going to be knowing why you chose this name. You want to start why you chose this name? It's totally up to you. But you're going to be telling us both. You're going to be telling us everything.
I'm going to tell you everything, okay. Okay, I'm going to start with the name, actually. The Golden Feather. When I think about it in history, first of all, I have to say that there is an object in the book that is called the Golden Feather, but I won't say what it is because I don't want to spoil it for the people who haven't read the book yet. But the Golden Feather, when I think about it, in history, when people wanted to write something down, they would use a quill. Feather, they dip it into some ink, and then they start writing each and everything down. I'm writing the story of a main character who has the name of... When I look at Mansour's story in my head before I wrote it down, I thought I'm holding a feather in my hand and writing down his story. And I see his story as something made of gold. Therefore, there is no doubt that the feather that would write down Mansour's story has to be a feather made of gold.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
What about the plot?
Well, the plot, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go into deep detail about the story because I'm not going to be able to spoil. If I talk too much, I'm going to spoil it. But what I can say is that Mansour, he's a 22-year-old student who studies psychology at the American University in Cairo. He has a passion for understanding the way people behave, why people are more mysterious than others, the secrets behind what made a character who he is. So Mansour, he's also the son of the Egyptian president in a world that I created. So I'm not symbolizing anyone. I'm not trying to resemble people who exist in the real world. It's just a fictitious world I created. Mansour has been born in a castle. His father lives with him. His father's not a good guy. I'm not talking politics. I'm talking on his human character. He's not a good person. He is power hungry, and he is incapable of love, the way a normal father should love his son. So this resulted in Mansour being left out. He's not able to cherish the bond any person should have with his father. On the other hand, his mother is a very depressed person. She's been drinking a lot, and she has an alcoholic problem, to the extent that she's not living in the world with him, and she was incapable of raising her son the way he should have been raised. A person like Mansour, growing up in a world where all he has is money, this should have made him a very bad person. But he was blessed to have Salama, who is the head of servants in the castle. Salama has been raising Mansour because he saw in Mansour, for reasons, the son he always wanted, and Mansour saw in Salama the father and mother he felt deprived of. So even though Mansour was the son of the most powerful and rich person in the country, he was raised by a servant. So he grew up to be a very humble and polite person, caring about the poor people, wanting to help them achieve what they want. And the story talks about Mansour's journey in discovering who he is as a person, and he strives to achieve everything that his father deprives him of.
Muhammad, why did you choose in your story the social and psychological aspects in humans?
Okay, I've always been affected by the idea of how people think, how they behave, what makes one person good, what makes another person bad. So I thought it would be fun to discover and go deep into the character of the characters. Socially, people behave in different ways, but in the end, the person who rules a country is the society, because one behavior in one country can be acceptable, but in another country it could not be. So socially, I thought this idea would be very important to tackle, to show people how money and power cannot be a blessing.
Influential.
Of course, it's a cliche thing we've all heard before, that money and power are not everything, but I wanted to put the camera on something different, to show people through the eyes of the most powerful and rich person in the country how you can have everything in the world and still not be happy.
Muhammad, you mentioned good and bad.
Yeah.
Do you think actually that there are good people that exist and bad people that exist, or that every entire person that we live around has his good aspects and his bad aspects, or his good points and his bad points?
I think every single person in the world has the good in him and the bad in him based on the experiences he has been exposed to as a child. Raising a child is the most important part in creating a foundation for who he will be. But in the end, it is what we choose from inside of us that will say if we're a good person or a bad person. In the story, some people have chosen the dark part inside of them to take over them, and therefore they don't become very good people because they destroy others. While there are other good people who want good to happen for everyone else, and so they strive to make this happen. They want everyone to be happy. So there are good people and bad people, yes, I believe in this.
Okay, Mohammed, you actually wrote this book. Where's your book?
You didn't tell me to bring it.
I didn't tell you.
You didn't tell me to bring
you
it with me.
You brought your book with you.
Why should I bring it? I'm here to talk about it.
No,
I'm not here to show it to
you're supposed to be showing the people the book.
Okay.
Anyways, you wrote the book.
Yeah.
What are the next step that you're planning on, and what are you thinking on? What are you going to be doing with this book now as we talk, and what are your future steps that you're planning for yourself?
Okay. First of all, I want to say that I've always wanted to become an actor. I love acting. I love the world of arts. I love especially the arts that are concerned with the creative field. So when I look at this book now, I see that I've come a very long way. And when I look at where I've come from, where I want to go, I don't have much left. I want to publish this book, but I'm still waiting for the opportune moment to do so. I want to gain full confidence, and I have achieved this feeling. I'm very confident, and soon I want to be publishing this book. But
when and how did you feel confident, Mohammed?
How I felt confident?
Are you a confident person?
This is for the people to say. I can't say I'm a confident person or if I'm not a confident person. Maybe you should tell me, am I confident?
Yes, I am confident. But you just
am I? I was asking me.
You just mentioned that you feel you're confident about what happened.
I am very confident, 100%.
That's
yes.
why I'm asking you. Are you a confident person? This was based on what you said. Are you a confident person? So you know you're a confident person. Okay. How did you gain your confidence?
I gained my confidence through a lot of social activity and through a lot of reading. I wanted to know, يعني, like Mansour, he loves psychology. He loves to know how people behave. This is where it all started for me. I started buying a lot of books, reading a lot about.
I was just gonna ask you, did you read a lot, Muhammad, when you used to be a child?
In the very beginning, yes. In the middle, my teenage years, no. And then when I graduated from school and went to university, yes, I read a whole lot of books. Yeah.
Why did you intense your reading when you started university and graduating?
Because I knew that I should have done better in school. I knew that there are a lot of books I should have read. I know that there were a lot of activities that I should have done. But like any child, I was completely seduced by the world of entertainment. So I didn't give attention to the person I want to become. But when I grew up and went to university, I knew that it was a very important thing to start giving attention to. So I stopped slacking, I started working, I started reading a lot, and I started giving attention to the person that I've always wanted to be.
Mohammed, what do you feel about your writing if we come to compare it with other writers? What distinguishes your writing?
This is a very interesting question. When I look at my book...
All my questions are interesting.
Of course they are. When I look at my book, I see an achievement I've been longing to have for the past few years. And for me, as a writer who wrote this book, I'm going to see it as the best book in the world. It's just completely natural. What makes me different from other writers, I will leave this for the people who read to decide, because every single writer in the world has something that makes him special, something that makes him...
What do you feel special about yourself? About your writing?
Honestly, I was passionate about it. I know every other writer was passionate about writing their book, but for me, passion was what fueled my desire to write the first word and everything until the very last full stop.
Mohammed, can you tell me about your childhood and what influenced you to the extent that you became a writer?
Okay. When I was a kid in school, I used to spend a lot of time alone, completely. Unwillingly, actually. I didn't want to do it, but it happened. I spent a lot of time...
You used to spend a lot of time alone?
Yes, unwillingly.
You did not want this to happen?
I did not want this to happen, but this is what happened.
Hands.
Yes, I did not have a lot of friends. I used to sit down alone. And through me being alone, I spent a lot of time with myself. I started to learn things about who I am, who I want to become, the things I love, the things that interest me, the things that seduce me into the world. I found myself delving into the world of art. I always wanted to be an actor, so I started watching a lot of movies. And me spending a lot of time alone, I watched a lot of movies people at my age back then, they didn't see. And when I started seeing these movies, I got a lot of ideas that one day could have made a very good movie. And it was then when I was at the gym listening to some music,
again,
where the idea came into my mind, exactly. It just happened that way when I was alone.
Mohammed, do you still want to be an actor?
Okay, yes, I love acting, but this is not what I will be living for.
Why did you blush?
Why did I blush? Okay, this is a very weird question, but I will answer it anyway. Because there are a lot of things, if I become an actor, I will not be able to do. Like I love economics, for example, which is my main major, by the way.
Why are you so contradicting, Mohammed?
I'm not so contradicting. I'm just trying.
You like the word of economics. You like the word of art.
My major in university, before I went to major in economics and graduate from the School of Business, was theater. Then I went to do economics and graduated. Again. Okay. My intended major when I went to university was theater. Yes.
Okay.
When I went to university was theater. Yes, and I loved it, every part of it, from writing down scripts, from stage directing, from acting, from everything about it, I loved it. And then when I found myself starting to write the book, I thought that it would be good for me to study economics, because I also love it, and write on the side.
Okay, Mohammed, you said that it took you 4 years to write this book.
Mm-hmm.
Was it difficult? What inspired you throughout the 4 years to keep on writing without giving up?
Okay, throughout the 4 years, of course, I doubted myself, like, what am I doing? I had no idea what I'm doing with my life, and honestly, when I was in college, I still have no idea what I would want to do with my future when I graduate. But when I went to write down, I enjoyed every single moment. When I saw the book before it was finished, I knew that this is why I was here. I knew that something about it was magical. I knew that I had to finish it down. And honestly, through the 4 years, I kept asking myself, will I be able to do it? Will I be able to get it out there?
Throughout the 4 years?
Throughout the 4
when
years.
did you figure out you're going to be able to do it?
1 year ago.
1 year ago.
1 year ago,
You
because
started when you were 18 years old?
I started writing down. I started like organizing
Inspired.
the idea, and was inspired when I was 18 years old. And then later on, I started looking at the book and saying, I'm going to write down the idea and give it to someone so they can have it as a cinematic adaptation. And then happened the story where I realized that I wrote down chapter 1 without even knowing it. So to have some fun, I started writing the rest of the chapters down without even knowing that I would be publishing it one day. But then I left it. It was half finished, and I left it for more than 6 months. Until a friend of mine, Muhammad Medigi, I gave him the chapters that I wrote, and he told me, did you really write this? He told it to me as if he was like seeing something great. I told him, yes, what's so good about it? Ali, it's great.
How
Finish
did
it.
this boost your ego?
Boost my ego. He's a very good reader. When he compliments my book to say that this is a very good idea, he knew the idea, but he didn't read it yet back then. But when someone like him, he saw the book and believed in it, that was enough for me.
That's wonderful, Muhammad.
Thank you.
Muhammad, who do you think your novel would appeal to the most?
Okay, from this book, I think children would enjoy it. I think teenagers would love it. And I think that every single person who reads the book, no matter what his age is, will take something out of it. Children will be fascinated by the idea of a 20-year-old billionaire, most powerful person in the country, and so on. Teenagers, they will enjoy the same thing, plus the drama, the romance in it. Adults will love the idea of family. Everyone will take something out of it. Maybe adults will enjoy the romance, they also enjoy the drama, they enjoy the idea, it's different, it's new, they've never seen something like that before. So I think it would appeal to most, or maybe even all audiences.
Where is your book? You're not supposed to be telling me. Is your book sold in the market now?
It's still not in the market.
It's not yet in the
No.
market. When is it going to be launched in the market?
I still don't know. I'm working on it, but what I know is that it is very soon. First of all, I have to note that in January there is the book fair that happens. I don't want to get caught up in the crowd with the great writers that are already out there. The readers will be focusing with them. I'm still having a market plan. I'm researching. I want to know when is the best time to get this book out, but very soon I will be doing so.
Muhammad, why don't you think that if you compete with the great writers you're mentioning, that you will be different and you will be chosen?
I know that I will.
Why didn't you think it this way?
Because I know that I will be different, but still, no matter what happens, and this is a problem that the very young writers experience, or people who are new in the writing field, they know that mostly everywhere, in each and every field, when someone is new, even no matter how good he is, people will always be looking to the greats. So it has to happen slowly. I'm not shocked, it's completely natural.
But you know your book is going to be different.
Yes.
Okay,
inshallah.
Muhammad, if there was a lesson, inshallah, I wish you best of luck,
Thank you.
of course. If there was a lesson to be learned from reading the novel, or a message to be conveyed, what would it be?
Okay. Can I ask you a question first?
Yes, of course.
Okay, when you listen to yourself speaking on camera, do you hear the voice you hear in your mind?
Do I hear the
Yes,
voice?
if you have a voice recording, you're recording a voice note, does your voice sound the same way it sounds?
No, it doesn't.
Exactly. It's the same thing with writing. What is writing? It's nothing but translating thoughts from an idea to writing it with style.
Subconscious, you mean?
No. I'm talking about writing generally. You have to do two things. You have to have a very good idea, and you have to have a very good or different or special style of writing to write this idea down. This is the capital a writer has. Like a businessman, he has labor, land, and capital. A writer needs to have these two. When people start writing an idea, they write it down, and their voice, there's the writer's voice. When people start reading the book, everyone's going to hear it differently. Everyone's going to see something different from reading the book. My intended message, I don't have one. I have a lot. But I think the most important thing about the idea is the idea of family. But I am leaving room.
What about family? Sorry to interrupt.
That it is the most important thing in the world, and that everyone should cherish it with all the love that they have. Because there is nothing that's going to last for someone more than his family.
Mention the family members you're discussing.
Okay. In the book, or in reality?
Both.
Okay, in both, I don't think that you need blood to be connected for
You
family.
don't think so?
Of course not. I have my protagonist, and this is something you know through the very first few pages in the book. Mansour does not even have a really good relationship with either his father or his mother. His family is Salama, the guy who raised him, and they're not even related by blood. They're not even related by blood. So I don't think that you need to be connected by blood to be family. It's those who come and don't go. It's not the people who are always there as if they've never been born. Doesn't count.
Mohammed, wrapping up today's episode, of course, we're very proud to have such a role
It's
model
my pleasure. Thank
in
you.
youth. We all here wish you a wonderful future. The Golden
Thank you.
Feather, we hope
Thank
it's you launched the book. When are you planning on launching the book, and how many pages is the book?
Okay, how many pages or how many words? Because it's different. When you look at the book, maybe it's more than 400 pages, but you can wrap it down to 300. 430 pages, but the number of lines per page, I wanted the people, when they read the book, I wanted it to be comfortable to their eye. I don't want it to be very small font, too many lines. So I spread the book out so that pages turn quickly and your eye doesn't get tired.
What are your future plans?
I'm going to write. I'm going to keep on writing.
That's
what I know.
When are you gonna start acting?
When am I going to start acting? I haven't thought about it yet.
You don't want to think about it?
No, I want to, but I'm not ready yet.
You're not ready? If you get the opportunity now, what are you going to be doing?
Honestly,
Honestly.
I don't know. This is my complete and honest answer. I don't know.
Mohammed, we wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we're very proud to have you with us today.
Always a
in
pleasure. I
today's,
was very happy to be here.
episode
Thank
of
you very
Local
much.
Time. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for shedding the light on your book. And
Thank
we
you.
hope you best of luck, of course, here from Local Time and NileTv.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
we're, dear viewers, this was Mohammed Faris, who wrote, of course, an author who is 22 years old only, who wrote a book telling us about the golden, his book's name is The Golden Feather, which tackles social and psychological aspects of humans through his character. And I have to emphasize at the end of this program and at the end of this segment that Mohammed did not focus on any politics in his book. He was only discussing the social and psychological aspects of human, and this was most important here to shed light on, and it was very important. The idea was really eye-catching, grabbed the attention, and we're really proud we have such a wonderful, inspired and young youth in our country that we should all see as a role model here. Dear viewers, from all the team here, we thank Mohammed. Thank you so much, Mohammed.
It's coming out in both Arabic and English, by the way.
Okay, then dear viewers, Mohammed's book, which is The Golden Feather. What's the name of the book in Arabic, Mohammed?
الريشة الذهبية.
Arisha al-Dhahabiyya. So the book is going to be coming out in English and it's going to be coming out in Arabic. Then we have no problems at all. Everybody who feels comfortable reading it in Arabic will read it in Arabic, and those who feel comfortable reading it in English will be reading it in English. And of course, again, we wish you best of luck, Mohammed.
Thank you very much.
Dear viewers, from all the team here, myself, your host Rana Al-Qassas, and our director Ayman Al-Sayed, thank you so much for joining, and until we meet again, another team of Local Time, from all the team here, it's goodbye.